Welcome back to the Andrea Giovino Show. I'd like to thank all the people that have subscribed. I like the people that leave comments. Feel free to leave comments. I always try to get back to you. And I always like to thank Jesus for giving me this platform and making me the person that I am today. Today we have back Toby TNT and a special guest, Guy Nardelli.
Hi.
Is it Nardulli?
Nardulli.
Nardulli.
Nardulli, yeah.
And Guy is on one of the biggest shows around the world right now, Tulsa King with Stallone.
Yeah, it's fun. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
This is actually one of my favorite shows. As soon as I started watching this show, it actually happens to be one of my favorite shows right now to watch on TV. So I'm actually excited to have you in here today.
Well, good.
To discuss, who you are as a person and the show and, what it's like working with a big actor like Sylvester Stallone.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Thanks for liking the show.
I love it.
That's big. Yeah, it's big. It's big.
So let's open it up to how'd you get involved in
in acting?
In even acting, crime, like you're doing crime. I mean, you look very Italian.
Oh, yeah. I mean, here, my career is the mob world.
Yeah, because you look like
I get
a
cast.
mobster.
I'm either a mobster or a cop. One of the two.
You look like a
I'm either
mobster.
busting mobsters or I'm the one getting busted. It's one of the two. But yeah, 21 years ago, I got into the business by accident.
Okay.
I did a modeling thing down in Jamaica. I was doing a calendar. Woman that was running the event was like, hey, you got to get out to L.A. She's like, you got to go meet somebody, get out there. I go, I meet with a casting director, Mark Teschner, Cass General Hospital, and I got the job. It was it was that quick. It was that quick for me. And I played a mobster. I came in, I was
Nice.
I was kicking down doors and I was shooting up offices. That's what I got cast
So you
as.
played Johnny Zip?
I play Johnny the Zip right
Johnny
now in
the
Tulsa
Zip.
King. Yeah, Johnny the Zip.
Tulsa King.
Yeah, Tulsa King right now. And that was, it's a role of a lifetime for me. I mean, it's a dream come true. I get to work with Sly.
Nice.
Sylvester Stallone. It's his show, and it's just.
What's he like?
Oh, God, when I first saw him, honest to God, it was like seeing Santa Claus for the first time.
Really?
Oh, he's genuine. He's humble. He's great. And then he's got this aura about him. And maybe because I'm Italian,
I love
and I see it.
And I love that he's Barese, like
he's
us.
Barese. He's like us. He's
like
from
us.
the Puglia region. He's one of us. He walked on set, and I looked at him, and I was just like, that's like everything I could have possibly imagined who he was. He looked grandiose, looked huge, right? But he's, normal sized guy, a little shorter than I am.
Right.
But everything about him, the way he spoke, just the way he moved, amazing man. And then you hear him doing interviews now, and he's super humble. Like the show is doing great, and he's thanking everybody other than himself, who is a big part of it. Like he's a huge part of the show.
Funny thing is, when I started watching this show, I'm watching Sylvester Stallone, and I'm saying this might actually be one of his best roles. He plays a convincing mobster. I mean, he actually plays that role extremely well. I don't know if I ever seen him in a role like that before, but the part that he plays is extremely convincing.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, he played a mobster in Oscar. It was a comedy, so it was like a spoof. But honest to God, Sly in his younger days, I think as he got older and he got more mature, I mean, this role just fits him.
Yeah.
I mean, Dwight Manfredi and Sylvester Stallone go hand in hand, right? Back in the day when he did Rocky, maybe not, right? Yeah. But the funny thing is he first got cast, he was working just like I was. Like he was the thug, He was working the tough guy roles.
He played the thug, tough guy roles, but
this here,
the character that he's playing now,
yeah,
I feel like he's nailed it.
He hit a home run.
And there's a good cast, including yourself on there. There's a cast of actors on that show that happen to do a phenomenal job on that particular show.
Dominic Lombardozzi, Vincent Piazza. I mean, there's a great show. I mean, Chris Caldovino. I mean, these guys are amazing. Martin Starr. I can list them all. This season, wow, man, this season is crazy who we brought on. We got, Frank Grillo's on this season.
Oh, I love
Neil
Frank.
McDonough's on
I
this
love
season.
Frank Grillo.
Grillo's
I can't
amazing.
believe Frank
Again,
Grillo.
Another Italian
from
the same
New York.
region.
Is he Barese?
He's one of us.
Oh my
wow.
God, I love it.
And Grillo's amazing.
I
He's
love
amazing.
Frank Grillo.
He's amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, the cast that we have.
And again, very Italian looking.
Exactly.
And
he plays Bevilacqua. I can get away with saying a lot of this now.
Okay, good.
The show's airing. He plays Bevilacqua. He's the Kansas City boss.
Yeah.
Now the Kansas City boss is going up against the Tulsa King, the Tulsa boss, who's who's going up against the New York guys, and that's where
Right.
Johnny the Zip comes in. You know, Chicky, we're part of the Vernisi
Okay.
family.
Yeah.
You know, so we get this big mob battle going on, and then
Nice.
there's the inner battle down in in Tulsa with the weed and the new ventures that are going on in Tulsa King.
Interesting. Very interesting.
I love that you were saying, and it does come through when I've watched Stallone's interviews, how humble he is. And Frank Grillo's like that too. I follow
Frank is
Frank
like that, too.
Grillo.
Frank's
He's
like that, too.
very, very humble. He's very appreciative. You know, he's like,
He's to the point.
yeah.
He's to the point. Frank is definitely to the point. Like he is
Very disciplined. He's
so,
extremely. I follow him on Instagram, and he's so disciplined.
Is it discipline? He says something like on his Instagram. He says something. It's not discipline. It's motivation, or is it motivation? Like he's motivated. to work,
Motivated,
you know,
yeah.
He's not disciplined to go work out. He works out because he wants to work out. He's
Right.
motivated to work out, and he
Right.
looks great, man.
Oh,
Sly
yeah.
looks great. I mean, these are
They look
guys
great.
like Sly's 78.
Oh my God, I didn't know that. He
And-
was
so that
phenomenal.
inspires me. So
That's unbelievable.
it's not because you're here today. But
No, it's because of our Italian skin.
Yeah, the olive oil. It's the olive
It's
oil.
the olive
I
oil.
eat a lot of olive oil, that's for sure. But Stallone actually is a guy that literally inspires me at his age, the shape that he's in, the conditioning, the movies that he's made. I work out regularly, but when I see a guy like that that's in his 70s and he stays in the consistent shape that he's in for all of these years, it's a lifestyle thing.
Yeah,
And that's
Even
one
Frank
of-
Grillo, though.
yeah. Grillo,
another guy in great shape.
great, amazing shape. I
Yeah.
think he's like 4% body fat.
Yeah.
He boxes every.
I see that. I
day.
see that. He
The
boxes.
man
He's
doesn't miss a workout.
Yeah.
Doesn't miss a workout. I mean, Sly doesn't miss a workout. These are guys that their images are one thing, right? But their discipline, as you
discipline,
said, the motivation to be who they are is what makes them who they are. That's why they're great. Like let's just give it to them. That's why they're who they are. That's why they're
Yes.
amazing humans, talented individuals, and
And I feel Frank Grillo blew up these past several years. Like I want to say maybe the past 10 years.
I think,
Or
like
maybe
he started doing Marvel, like when he got Marvel, but he was big. He was big before that too. He was on.
Before
I
10
think he
years?
was on Bold and the Beautiful or one of the soaps. He was on.
Oh,
forget-
I don't watch soaps,
I forget
that's
what
why.
soap opera it was.
Okay, so he started
forgive me on
there.
that, but he started
Okay.
there, and then television, and then just now he's in
He's an
demand.
A-lister.
He's in demand.
Yeah.
So do egos ever get in the way on a show like that? Because we got some big names. We got some A, B, C listers on that show. And a C lister is a recognizable face. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, the big A lister is a huge star like Sylvester Stallone that almost everybody knows. Do you guys ever run into, and we don't have to mention names, but do personality conflicts ever come into play? Because you have experienced actors on that show. It's a good show for a reason. I mean, there's talented
Right.
actors that are on that show. Do the egos ever get in the way?
I got to tell you what, this show, honestly, God, not because I'm on it, not because I'm promoting it, not because I just want to say nice things about it. The entire cast, the crew, everybody. It's like it's a family.
Nice.
That's
it's
nice.
great.
That's
I mean,
awesome.
because we shot
That's
this all in
nice.
Atlanta, right? So when we would finish shooting, we'd all either go hang out. I hung out with everyone, man. We all
Oh.
hung out together,
I like
Vince,
that.
Vince, I live in LA. Vince lives in New York, and he called me up. Be like, hey, can we rehearse? You don't get that. Like you don't.
Right.
He doesn't have to call me up. Be
Right.
Like, hey, let's rehearse a couple lines. Let's get things going. Let's talk about it. Hanging out with some of the other cast. Like it was just, it's a family, and I've been lucky, right, throughout my career that I haven't really come across any of the big egomaniacs to work with. But you would think that, right? Like you got Sly, you got Grillo, you got Neil McDonough, like you got big
names.
like
Recognizable.
star power names,
Right.
not just recognizable names. Like
But
these
stars.
are billboard names,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
And not one of them plays the ego card. Not
Nice.
one
I
of
like
them.
that.
Nice.
Not one of them.
I like to hear that.
I like
because
to hear that
it's
too.
always
'cause
good working
that's
with good people.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
Yeah. And it makes going to work easier.
Right.
Right? I mean, here, you guys come here on a daily basis. You love each other. You love working with one another, right? It's that's what it's all about. Like,
Right.
I go to work. I want to be able to love who I'm working with.
Yes.
And if an ego gets involved, then you're you're not really there, right? The
And
ego,
we've been blessed so far as well to have a lot of good people
A lot of good people
come
come
in
on.
that we liked almost every person that we had.
And
we've
stayed
had on the
friends
show.
with. Like
well, you
it's
guys haven't
literally-
really talked to me long enough yet, so we'll see how we're doing.
No, I could tell you right at the gate, as soon as I met you, I didn't like you. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
I mean, I get it.
is
I
what it is.
understand. I understand. I mean,
You know?
it's.
Well, I
Nah,
like them.
you know,
thank you.
you're gonna have to turn into character and tell me what the fuck.
I got Johnny the Zip is gonna have
What
to
is
come
Johnny
out.
the Zip
Like,
gonna
you're
do
have
about
to
it? That's what I want to
something.
know.
Okay, if Johnny, you get Johnny upset.
Listen, I saw Johnny get slapped around by
Oh
Chicken. all right,
no!
guys? Take
Come on,
it easy,
man. Yeah,
Take
that's,
it easy, Johnny.
yeah. Chicky put me into a wall. That's for
Whoa,
sure.
okay.
I went against his wishes, and
Got a couple cracks there.
well, he
Straightened
definitely-
you out.
He straightened me out. He
Straightened you out.
But this season, you never know what happens this season. Johnny the Zip might just say something that comes. You never know.
You get me
All right,
excited.
all
We
right.
gotta
You gotta
watch.
tune in. You gotta watch.
That's
You
it.
gotta see what's going on.
I will be tuning in. You can bank
please,
on that.
Please.
So tell me about your new projects, your new ventures, what you're doing, because I know you're very busy.
Yeah, no, I'm working with Kevin Interdonato. I think you guys had him on the
Love
show
Kevin.
here. Kevin and I have
Great
been
guy.
friends for years. Amazing guy. Again,
Humble.
Another guy, right? Like
Another
this
humble
is,
guy.
Right.
There's a theme going
Real.
on here. Real. Down to earth. Salt
Right.
of the earth, man. And we met on a show years ago called Rush Hour. It was a television show. Didn't last very long on air. But we met on that show. We were together for 15, 16 hours a day working on
Wow.
this show. Two Italian guys right away. We bonded. We started chatting. And then we worked on a movie together called The Gods. And he approached me about a movie that he had written called Dirty Hands. And he's like, hey, man, you want to, partner up with me to help make this movie? Initially, it was going to be he and I as the leads.
What's a little bit about?
The movie's about two brothers who essentially follow up a drop and get chased throughout the city of Chicago by the gangsters. And they have to do right, and they have to make a decision. Right or wrong, they have to make a decision, and it's a life decision.
Well, they're going to kill them. Could be.
Something's going to happen. They're either going to die or they're going to come out. They're going to come out on top. But an error was made, and they got to fix that error.
Okay, so you're working on that now.
And we're working on it now, and we got a cast. Like I was saying, I was going to play the lead with him, but we kind of made a business decision on this one. I stepped down from the lead character.
I like that.
One of the supporting characters.
I like that because there are people that wouldn't do that.
No, are you kidding? The ego gets in the way, and
yes.
like everybody wants to be the number one.
I know.
I got to be number one on the call sheet,
But
otherwise I'm not
that's
doing
better
it.
for the project.
And it's so much better for the project because
Yeah.
we got Patrick Muldoon, who's
I
playing,
like
playing his
him.
brother, super talented actor. We got Michael Beach, who's playing one of the main antagonists.
Okay.
We got Denise Richards,
Right.
who's in it, and then
She's-
you got Kevin Interdonato that's in it, and then I'm in it. Like we're still all
Right.
in it together, and we're gonna play, and we're gonna make, pardon my French, a badass movie.
Right.
Like it's plain and
Nice.
simple, right? But he approached me on it, and we came together. We, he found the investors and found some great investors. People got involved. They believed in the project. They believed in what we were doing.
Nice.
And then we're shooting in my hometown, Chicago. I grew up in Howard Heights, so and it's like a village.
So everybody knows
of Chicago.
everybody.
So we know everybody. And the village opened up their doors. The mayor was like, "Guy, whatever you want. You want to close the street? We'll close the street." The chief of police, same thing. Locations, and it's, for lack of a better phrasing of it, it's a low budget movie. We're not making a multi-million-dollar budget movie, but production wise, it's going to look like $1 million movie.
I
or
like that.
multi-million-dollar movie, because one, we got people that want to work. Two, the connections that we have in Chicago, and three, the passion and the love that we all have for one another. Because it can't happen, again, like we were saying before, if you're not friends with everybody, or you don't like everybody. Right? Like if you're not friendly with everybody, it's not going to happen. And this thing is going to be a hit. I promise you.
Wow. When do you think, can you tell the audience, like, when do you think it would be out, like finished filming and getting on the screen? And what
are we referring to now? The next movie is coming
yes,
out?
Dirty Hands.
Dirty Hands.
Yes,
Yeah.
Dirty Hands.
Let's get into that a little bit, because that's
Well, that's-
tell us a little bit about Dirty Hands and that coming out, because I know you're out here
Yeah,
preparing
we're
with some
actually
stunts right now, right?
Right now we're at Seven Circle Productions doing our stunt work. Our
Okay.
stunt team is in Jersey, and Kevin, myself, and our lead actor are out there doing the stunts. So we came out here to do that. We go into production, full production, October 7th is when we start filming.
Okay.
And it's aggressive. We're shooting this thing in under 20 days.
Really?
We're banging this thing out.
Okay.
We're flying.
And then
through
how's
it.
after that? When does
After that, it's
when you think release?
by May. There should be a full cut done. I want to say by end of summer of
2025.
Of 25. End of summer
Nice.
of 25. It should be out and done. We got lucky, you know, because of our connections, and one, because Kevin's talented. I'm going to give that to Kevin.
Listen, he's a real talented guy. I like watching his stuff.
Yeah, I do
And he
too.
plays a good bad guy.
Plays
so
a great bad guy.
I'm assuming he's going to be the bad guy again.
Well, he's the protagonist in that sense because it's about the brothers, so he's playing that. But there are no good or bad guys in this movie.
Gotcha.
It's everybody. Everybody is suffering in this movie. Everyone's got something. Everyone's got a secret, and it's all happening in this movie. But going back, Kevin's super talented.
Yes.
So I'm not going to say we got lucky because Kevin wrote an amazing script. And Storyboard, who's one of the bigger sales agents that are out there, is going to help sell this movie for us. And we got that, again, through Patrick, too, because Pat has helped us out a lot through this. So having a full team like that together just makes us even more confident that this is going to be a success.
Nice.
And you don't fall on success. You got to earn it. You got to work for it, right? And you can't just put words on a page and be like, "Hey, I wrote a script." Like you got to do the right stuff and do it well. Kevin put it together really well. We put together a good team, and Dirty Hands is going to be fun. It's going to be a fun movie.
Excited.
Action.
I'm excited.
Full of fights. It's like it's going to be cool. Like
Wow.
I posted something on my Instagram a day ago regarding the stunts and like some of the background stuff that we're doing. So yeah, so get some cool
I
fights
did.
happening.
I saw that. So at the end of this, we'll give the Instagrams, and some people could
go check it out.
Check out your
Yeah.
Instagrams at the end of the podcast. But so you play these roles, as does your buddy Kevin. So I want to know the background of Guy. I want to know Guy's background and where he comes from. And we want to give it to the audience. I know you and I already had a conversation of who you are, where you come from. Tell us how you're able to bring out that mob character out of a nice guy that's sitting next to me, and how he turns into that
the tough guy,
gangster,
the
tough
gangster
guy.
Yeah, grew up in Chicago, like I said. Little Italy was where, I spent
in Chicago.
my whole life. Like I speak fluent Italian. Growing up, my father was a cop, so it was like fun to have that side of the family. My other side of the family, my mom, my dad, my uncles and all that stuff. I'm not saying that they were connected in any way, shape, or form, but they knew people, right?
Yeah.
And I got to hang out with a lot of the guys. When we'd go down, I'd hang out at Jilly's, the retro club on Rush Street, which was a mob hangout. And, I got to know a lot of those guys growing up. And when I say growing up, I was going to these places when I was 16, 17 years old.
Yeah.
So like
Right.
I was next to some bad guys.
So it's easy then to play that because you've been around these
around
people
it.
and you know the mannerisms, you know the dialogue, you know how to portray.
Exactly. And I know how to keep the secret.
Yes.
Right? Because everybody who plays a mobster that doesn't know it, they're all like, flashy, gold, this,
Yeah.
and, walking around. Hey, I'm a mobster. I'm not. These guys don't do that. Like,
No.
none of them, but even the killers, even the stone cold killers, aren't telling you they're stone cold. Spilotro, Anthony Spilotro, a stone cold killer, has a family, did his thing in Chicago, was well liked.
Right.
Right? He didn't flash it, but he was a bad guy. I mean, and I don't mean bad in like saying good or bad. Like he was a
No,
bad, like
treacherous.
he was a scary man, right?
Scary.
So you look at that. So I got to be around a lot of those guys. So yeah, there's moments that I can touch on, like, oh, I remember
Yes.
how such and such was like. So
You could go into that
I can go into
character.
and play almost imitating what I had seen.
So almost like even on the show Tulsa King, where you have these different characters. I mean, as you would know, growing up in and around organized crime and mob guys, you have the different characters of mob guys in real life. That you got the guy that is mild mannered and he doesn't act flashy.
Mm-hmm.
You got the next guy like a John Gotti who was a very flashy guy.
Yeah.
Then you have the next guy that wants to let everybody. They want everybody in the streets to know
Who they
who
are.
they are.
Yeah.
Who they are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
You have a lot of them.
So no, I mean the show
demand
has
respect.
Yeah, they want.
Yes.
They want
I
the
don't know.
respect.
Do they demand it or do they enforce it? It's like weird. It's like weird because that
enforce it, I
respect
think.
aspect of it. You know, when you're looking at the guys, right? Like a John Gotti didn't have to demand respect, but
No.
he showed it, right? And he
Yeah.
he played it, the Dapper Don, right? He was
Yeah.
out there, but you respected him. Like
Yeah.
everyone knew
Like,
who he was.
I know John very well, and I think Armand Asante played him very well.
The best portrayal
Very well.
of John, I
Yes.
think, is Armand Asante.
Armand Asante.
I mean,
I have
Travolta,
to say Armand
Travolta did it.
No.
He did it, but Armand
I walked
Asante,
out.
Armand Asante
She walked out of the movie theater with my
killed
brother.
that part.
I was
him.
just like, that's not how he was. You know, he didn't act like that the way John portrayed him. I'm sorry, but he didn't. But Armand Asante definitely nailed it. You know,
I'll watch that over and over again.
You know, I love that movie.
I love that movie.
Me too.
Oh God, who played?
Like he never did. John Travolta did this.
Remember his name?
John never did that. Like he was in a scene going, no, no, no. He doesn't.
Oh no, he didn't have to.
Didn't have to do that.
He didn't have to.
Exactly.
He didn't have to. That's the thing too when you're hanging out with a lot of the guys. The guys that are the guys, like the hands down, they don't have to do much.
They don't have to do anything. People come to them.
Like they come to them and they don't have to
Exactly.
say much. They say no, and like what the way they said
Yeah.
no, what it means, and it could have 100 different meanings.
Yeah.
But you know it. They don't have to do it. They
I
don't
think
have to
he's
show
another
it.
great actor, Armand Asante.
Armand Asante's amazing.
Yeah.
God, I would love to work with him.
Yeah, he's really.
You may at one
You
point.
might.
I mean,
point,
listen,
yeah.
listen. You're acting. You're producing. What other? Are you doing any other?
Doing a little writing. I'm not doing
Little
any
writing,
directing
acting,
yet, but
producing. Okay.
acting, writing, and producing right now.
Okay.
So you never know. I might have to write something for
Yeah.
for
You're
him.
going down that road, brother.
There's
you know
some
what I'm
people I
saying?
know that are very close, good friends with him. So
You know, and you.
All right, well, we'll
Yeah.
have to chat.
yes, we will chat.
We'll have to chat.
So this was like a pleasure that you made the time to come on and speak about all your new ventures and what's going on Tulsa King and how it is working with all these people, and I just love that you're verifying that they are all humble and appreciative to their fan base, also to the fans
Yeah,
that
yeah.
love to watch their show.
Well, because like everyone that's on the show knows where they came from.
Yeah,
And I think
well,
that's
that's important.
I think we
You
were
always-
talking about that
yes,
earlier about
you always
values.
have to know where you come
and all that.
from,
You got to know where you come from.
and not get that big head. So
There's a lot of big heads in the entertainment industry.
A lot of big heads.
A
in the
lot of
entertainment
big
industry.
heads. You know.
I mean, they would say that if you wanted to win an Academy Award, you'd have to have an actual full big head. So
That's it.
I don't really have that big of a head.
I got a
so-
small head too, man. So I don't
I
think
mean, I'm not up for an Oscar anytime soon. I don't think.
okay, good.
But no, I really appreciate you guys having me on the show. This is
Pleasure.
this is
Great.
fun.
Pleasure.
This
Is there
fun.
anything you'd like to tell the audience about how could they follow you? Where could they find you? How could they see?
Absolutely.
So
On
just-
Instagram, it's GUY NARDULLI 24. The 24 has been following me since I was a kid. So I played football. I wore 24. So GUY NARDULLI 24 on Instagram. Get Paramount Plus. Get on there every Sunday. Watch Tulsa King. Make it the #1 show in the world instead of the #2 show in the world. I'm a little greedy on this one. I need it to be #1, guys, and so does Sly and everybody else. And I'm sure it'll get there. But thank you very much for listening. This was fun.
Great having you. Don't forget to follow at Toby TNT1, at Andrea Giovino 1. God bless.
Thank you everyone for tuning in. Thank you so much for coming on my show. I really appreciate it, and we'll see you next time.
Pleasure, brother.